Thanks for joining us. Before the break, Patty Wilson's case had very little to go on at this point in terms of leads.
Yeah, absolutely cold.
Investigators thought that they'd had their fella when they brought in a man Patty had been spending a lot of time with. He really checked some of the boxes.
Terry Batiste is still checking the boxes for me. I'm still waiting for it to come back around and somehow they missed something and it was him. Well, I don't know. I'm waiting for like an apartment witness to be like, look, actually, I remember seeing him.
Well, unfortunately, after passing their investigators' last bit of hope to hold him, a polygraph, they had to release him. There was nothing to hold him on. And even with the FBI's profile, they didn't have a lot to go on. They did, Patty's mom, after, of course, investigators told her that this was one of those cases that went unsolved or that would go unsolved. Patty's mom somehow pieced together a $10,000 reward, which of course, brought in, lots of people. They interviewed over 200 witnesses and still nothing.
Yeah, in spite of their discouraging attitude, mom's not giving up hope.
No.
Musters up $10,000. We've seen time and again where money gets involved in the reward, answers often come. They really do.
I mean, it brings some interesting people out of the woodwork. They're not always the right answers, but they bring answers to something.
They give some direction.
Yeah, this brought them nothing. And in February 1986, 4 years after Patty's murder, out of nowhere, investigators received a phone call from Terry Batiste's brother, Leonard. He claimed he knew who killed Patty. It was not Terry.
Wow. Because I just feel like even at this time, they still have to be suspicious of Terry, regardless of, yes, they couldn't hold him. Yes, he passes.
Yeah, I mean, suspicion doesn't hold him, though.
Of course,
right?
no. Yeah, we've established that. But oftentimes you suspect somebody until something breaks and you can get them because they've done a good enough job hiding themselves or protecting them that reality. So here you got Big Brother, the bro coming and being like, look, it wasn't. I know you guys still think it was my brother and it wasn't. So I'm interested to hear what he's got to say.
All they had at that point was simply his timeline.
Perfect. Exactly.
His timeline, his alibi was not perfect.
His timeline and his history. You've got these two things. You've got a little bit of a
history of murdering anybody.
No, he's got a history of being angry and violent.
Sure, according to her friends, right? But again, that does not give probable cause to charge someone.
Not.
So
it just makes you a suspect.
A loose one at that, right? Well, Leonard said that Velma Batiste, the estranged wife of Patty's boyfriend Terry, was responsible.
What?
When Velma told Leonard that she was the one who killed her, because Leonard is saying this from his firsthand information. Velma, Terry's wife, is telling Leonard that she was the one who killed her.
Holy smokes.
So when she told him that, he told her, quote, "Don't be saying that if you didn't do it. You shouldn't be joking around like that."
It's not something to be joking around about.
Velma Batiste said, quote, "I swear to God I did it." Leonard also shared with investigators that he heard Velma say numerous times that Patty, quote, "got what she deserved."
Don, that feels icky. Murder bragging is disgusting.
Bragging is disgusting.
So she probably she had gotten away with this, and then she murder bragged.
Yes.
And got, and got ratted on, then somebody did the right thing.
She's not got yet.
Well,
I mean, this is just someone.
Not yet, but I mean, it's out there now.
This is someone saying. I mean, it's hearsay at this point, right?
Looking back on it too. When you mentioned the fingernail scratches in Patty's neck, it had me thinking it's not a man thing usually. Usually. We've had a lot of strangulation cases. I have never really heard that little detail get mentioned.
I've never heard strangulation in any, whether it has been a male or a female, of the the fingernails at that point.
Right, that's what I mean. I've heard strangulation a bunch of times. Fingernails digging into the neck has not been a detail that I've heard a bunch of times. So like I was in the back of my mind, that itched the back of my mind is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, and
now I know why. And if it's her.
And especially if it's going on for as long as they thought, right? I mean, that continuous puncture pressure, it's,
that gives me the willies.
So Velma was angry that Patty was having an affair with her husband, her estranged husband, I might add.
She is the mom of all five of his kids?
Of his children. Yep. So detectives had been looking in the wrong place all along. Even the FBI had gotten it wrong. They didn't have it pegged for a woman.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Again, who would? Strangulation
Because-
is just a male way to kill.
Because according to the behavioral analyst, women don't typically strangle their victims, right?
Yeah.
So and with kind of that, they suggested the killer was a man in their report.
It gives me the willies, dude.
So even they got it wrong.
Gives me the chills so bad.
When detectives initially canvassed the area around Patty's apartment, they had actually spoken to Velma. Even she had also urged detectives to look into Patty's ex-husband. Because
What kind of cigarettes you smoke, lady?
Because Patty and Velma were not strangers. They were not strangers. They knew each other.
They must not have been friends.
I wouldn't. They
obviously knew each other.
They were friendly.
Yeah,
but not
smaller town. You know, most people know one another or know of one another.
Just and town aside, just that area, right? That complex.
They lived very close in proximity.
But they were not friends. So, I mean, if Patty is
Patty's probably not going to open her door and let Velma in.
Exactly. They're not that friendly.
Yeah.
Well, so how had Velma gotten into Patty's apartment? There was a third person.
What?
Yes. There was a third person.
What? There's an accomplice?
Mm-hmm. Well, at least a third person. We're not going to say accomplice.
Okay.
Don't jump to conclusions.
A
third person.
Yes,
a third person.
I did jump. I jumped there.
Well, Patty's friend and neighbor, Geraldine. Velma knew that was how she could get to Patty. The original plan wasn't to murder her. Velma told Geraldine she just wanted to rough her up a little bit. When detectives interviewed Geraldine, she didn't give much info and was not forthcoming, really at all. And detectives told Geraldine that Velma had confessed to the murder and they knew everything. But Velma had not at all. Not even a little bit. Their plan worked, and when they confronted Geraldine with that, her shoulders visibly dropped. Her entire demeanor changed. She thought she was caught. Yes.
She was probably ready to stop holding on to that.
Yeah.
Man.
She was ready to talk. So find out after the break what Geraldine said.